you do know how to coach football, and that's all that really matters. And by the way, speaking of that, I don't think you're getting enough credit, because if you know the history of your league, the National Football League, ex-superstars don't become coaches.
Right.
I looked hard at it. There was Coach Landry, and he was a pretty good cornerback back in the days of the white cornerbacks for the New York Football Giants, right? And yet Tom was a good player, but he wasn't obviously any Deion. And then there was Coach Ditka, who was a great player, and he had one moment in the sun at that with those 85 Bears at the Super Bowl. But seriously, that team was propelled mostly by Buddy Ryan's defense, to me. Right. So that brings us to Deion Sanders. You're a TV star. You could have 100 easy, cushy TV gigs, and you have now chosen to battle your way up the ladder as a college football coach. What drove you to do that?
Necessity. I'm driven by need and purpose. Retired. Bucky, my oldest son, I remember playing for the Cowboys and going out to watch him play on Saturdays before we had to report over to camp, and getting the videographer to film his games. And I remember watching practice and being disgusted of watching some of the things transpire of, dad ball and how that works. And then when my younger kids start playing, I lied about their ages. I'm like, I'm not going to 2 different practices. Okay, Shador, you're going to be 6, and Shiloh's going to be 7. Now, Shiloh's 7, all right? So I could just go to one practice. And I'm sitting over there, and they were just doing some stupid stuff. And I get up and go help them and change it, fix it, sit back down. They start doing it again. These kids was 10 yards apart, just going head on like somebody's going to get a concussion. So I'm fixing it. So finally I said, if I'm going to do this, I might as well do it myself. And I called all my ex-Cowboy teammates like George Hageman, Kevin Mathis, and so forth. And we started a youth program and had 1,200 kids try out at the Cotton Bowl for our teams. And the rest is history. We hadn't stopped since.
Unbelievable. Are there moments you ever say, why am I inflicting all this stress on myself? Because it's hard to coach college football.
It is. First of all, it's hard to coach kids because you're really dealing with parents head on. But it prepared us. Like, we rented schools to do what we did in the summer programs. We rented athletic facilities. I probably built 4 or 5 fields over in the inner city in South Dallas and so forth. And this is just what we love. Not only that our kids were participants, but it was so many kids that's yearning for correction and protection and affection, and to be taught the right thing to do. And you talk about a lot of fatherless kids that I didn't give a darn if the mother and the father were talking. I would tell the mother, hey man, give me the numbers to the fathers, because I don't care if he comes to practice. I just need him there every now and then so he can just tilt his head. Like if you do that, that means if the son see you do that, that means it's straight. And that's all I want.
Okay. So has it helped you that many people do believe you are the greatest athlete ever? Is that cachet for you, or does that make it harder to coach because you're more demanding on what you're watching?
No, because if I believe those people about being the greatest, I got to believe the negativity as well. So I don't beckon to the sound of strangers. Yeah. Like, I understand the voice I want to hear, and it's God's voice. That's the only voice I want to hear. But I don't get erotic with the hand claps or get ignorant with the boos.
I understand.
I don't let it phase me. I never have. I mean, I've always been that way. I've always been naysayed my whole life. I was $150 coming out of high school going to Florida State. So I was naysayed going in there. I wouldn't know. Yeah. In those days, I probably would have been a 3-star, a 2-star. I wasn't that. But, I didn't come with a lot of fanfare. I came with a lot of work ethic.
Yes, you did. By the way, do you believe you were the greatest athlete ever?
Most definitely. And I don't even second guess that. Yeah, I don't even second guess that. I mean, definitely.
Because as you've always said, hitting a baseball, playing baseball is really, really difficult. And you played it at the highest level.
But that's the sport I dream about still, Skip. Like, that's the sport that I'm upset with myself at, because I'm like, darn it. boy, I wish I could have given it a little more. But if I had to
I
give it a little
understand.
more, that
Yeah.
means I would have been taken away from the other game. And
Yeah.
I backed up on football because, several years I only played half the football season and the entire baseball season. And I had in my contract where we're mathematically eliminated, I could go to football. So, but I
Yeah.
think about baseball. I still have baseball dreams. I still have those dreams.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like it was incomplete. Like I wanted to do better.
Well, maybe God blessed you too much, where you just couldn't fit both in at the same time, right?
Yeah, but God gave me equilibrium to balance things in
He
life
did. Yeah,
simultaneously, and that's a tremendous gift. That's not a talent. That's a gift.
it is a gift.